Alright, so I kind of just want to go over my build that I used to beat the DLC. I did not have to go and redo my stats. So this faith and strength build that I use, let's bring up my stats real quick. This is New Game Plus, so my character level is going to be a little bit higher than I think first playthrough. But as you can see, mostly faith, and strength, and then vigor. Those are my stats. You can see my blessing level, 18. That's what I finished with, and then my revered spirit ash blessing is 8. Those are required for the DLC for the average player. So it doesn't matter what build you're running as an average player. You need to collect those tree fragments, and then if you use a spirit ash, you need to get those blessings as well. Because without those, it doesn't matter what build you're running, I don't think. So keeping those in mind and exploring and finding those naturally. My build overall, again, faith and strength. Let's go over the equipment. The Great Stars Club, you get this in the base game. It's in the third section map. Let me bring it up. Show you exactly where it is. Yeah, right around, I believe this area here is where you'll find it. It's in a caravan. I think some undead giants are pulling it around. This weapon is amazing for every boss. It really staggers them. It does a lot of damage. It heals you, so as long as you get the hit off, you can kind of trade blows with a lot of bosses. And then if you hit them enough, you get a really big bleed. It's this thing carried me through a lot of the fights. Every boss I was using this. I was using another weapon too, the Inseparable Sword, which is you get from D's quest in the base game. I use this just for fun. It's just I like swords, but for bosses, I didn't really use it too much. So yeah, I would just stick with the Great Stars. And then shields. So the brass shield, it's like the most efficient shield in my opinion. It keeps your equipment load reasonable, and it does a really good job mitigating damage. I only had to bust this out on a few bosses, and it makes a huge difference. You'll see if you go and see my other videos and see the fights that I do kind of struggle with. I just usually tweak one thing in my equipment and then the boss dies. So in some of those it was busting out a shield, and for the last boss in particular, I'm not gonna go over names and stuff. But yeah, I had to bring out the fingerprint shield, and this thing makes that fight a lot more manageable. But I only had to break this out once. I probably could have used this earlier and made a lot of the other bosses easier, but I didn't feel like it was necessary until the last boss. I'm using the Erdtree seal also for my my spells. The spells I'm using, it's the Golden Vow, Lightning for range attack, and then the Beast Vitality just for some passive health. Really didn't really use too many of those actually on the bosses, except for just like before I went in. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Really just out of this section here is the club, and then what shield I'm using. Armor wise, you get this pretty early if you go looking for it. It's the Oath Seeker set. I have the Black Knight gauntlets as well. But I feel like it's just good armor. I feel like armor wise, it's really just down to cosmetic and what you like to look like. As a paladin, as a faith build, this armor was cool. Talismans on the other hand, I never took off this one, the Dragon Crest Great Shield. This one's really important. I feel like again, never take it off. The Pearl Drake. So this is one that you can find in the DLC, but the +2 variant is actually what I beat the last boss with. I actually went back after I did that and found this. So I would find this maybe ahead of time if you're worried about non-physical damage. The two-headed talisman, this is recovery. It's okay, the two-headed turtle one. And then the Erdtree favor, this was really just to make sure my equipment load stayed in the medium range. But yeah, talisman wise, another important one is probably the Crimson Seed. This saves you from having to spam a lot of potions. Usually just 1 will get you majority of all your health back. This is the DLC one, so there's a base one. I'd use that for bosses. And then all these, the Spell Drake, the Flame Drake, and the Bolt Drake. The +3 variants, these are ones all you find in the DLC. I had a few of these, but the +2 variants are also very good if you come up against certain bosses that do elemental damage, as well as, you know, their normal physical attacks. So these really help mitigate that. Let's see what else. I really didn't use any of these. This is a new one. This one's pretty good. But I didn't really use any other one. You could obviously, as a faith build, use the Sacred Scorpion Charm for more damage. I didn't have a damage problem using this. And then let's go down here. The Mimic and then the Black Knife are the only 2 summons I used. I used the Black Knife for 80% of the bosses. I actually only used the Mimic on... There's a boss up on a very tall mountain. I'll just say that. That I had to switch this to, and I immediately killed him once I did. And then the last boss, I also used the Mimic. But everything before that, I think I used Black Knife, which was plenty good. So these are the summons I used. And then physic-wise, I went with the heavy negation of damage, because once you enter the fog gate, for a lot of bosses, they bum rush you. And so this just mitigated so I wasn't like super injured right off the bat. And then stamina boost. Again, I'm using a big club here, and I'd sometimes use a shield. It would just help, you know, keep my stamina up. You can kind of use whatever. I don't think this is that important, or you could definitely min-max this a little bit more. But I'm just trying to show that I don't have everything min-maxed, and this is what I went through the DLC with like no issue. So yeah, if you look at my old videos, or my previous videos, you'll see again I'm using this setup, and I change 1 or 2 things if I get stumped to then like basically one-shot the boss. So hopefully this helps out you other faith strength characters, and yeah, good luck, Tarnished.